Welcome along to Broken&Unseen, your favorite podcast. It's my humble self, Joel, and I'm here with.
Big Sam, good to have you all here again. How are you, my man?
I'm okay, bro. I'm good. So today it's a continuation of the last episode. We are doing maybe we will take it to a 3-part series or 4-part series, but we've already done the first part. And by now the audience must have seen the first part. So this is the second part of the series we'll be doing. It depends on how it's going to flow. We can take it to a 3-part or 4-part series. So this is the second part, and the first part we talked about our childhood, growing up in Africa, the roots, football, how the journey started. So today we'll be focusing more on the Europe part of the journey. So before we ended the last episode, you talked about how the journey started, the Europe journey came about, how you were selected to go for your trials. And so let's just do a quick recap. So how did the trials go, and how did you get selected to travel to Istanbul and everything else?
So, like I said before, on the other day was like, it was really a long story, the selecting process. Let's just say I was lucky enough to be among the selected few. I mean, I actually didn't expect it because I did left Ibadan in the western part of Nigeria. I went back to Lagos to stay with my brother for a few days while I was thinking what to do next, probably going back to school. And all of a sudden, but this might shock you a little, what I'm going to say. When I went to Ibadan, I went with this Sony Neo laptop, and one of this assistant coach, his name is, God forgive me to mention the name, his name is Chinedu. And he told me, he said, yo, do you know I can actually make sure that you get your visa as soon as possible, and the exchange fee for this will be your laptop. Yeah. I was like, okay, bro, why not? Take it. You'll be nice, man. I don't really need a laptop anymore, The touch pad was actually starting to be problematic at that time. He said he'll fix it. So it was just a discussion. I thought he was joking, So while I was in Lagos, and I got a call from one of these guys and be like, want to come to Ibadan in the next 2 days and pick up your visa. No, to give me your passport. So I gave him my passport. It's like 45 minutes, 1 hour. I don't remember exactly drive. Then I gave him my passport. I went back to Lagos. I was called like, you know what? Come back to Ibadan the next day, blah, blah, blah. Come get your visa. It's ready. It was like, just like that, Usually what I know about getting a visa is that you go to the embassy, you make an interview, fill some papers, But to be honest, that was how strong the connection was, I didn't even have to travel to Abuja or Lagos, the part of Lagos where the embassy, I don't remember if Turkish embassy was in Lagos or in Abuja. I don't remember because I have never been there. And I got my visa. A few days later, called my brother. Unluckily, my brother had a problem with his son then, who was in hospital, who later passed away 5 years later. And I was supposed to travel. The day I was supposed to travel, he kind of gave me I told him, look, I don't know, I want to wait for the other batch who want to leave, where they will have a mass ticket. If I get my ticket right now, I'll leave. I was like, okay, then he gave me the money, I went for a ticket, got a ticket to travel that same night. Nothing was planned, I couldn't even say goodbye to my mom, anybody. I couldn't go back to the south, the Edo state where I came from. When I got to the airport, the guy, his name is Musa, who was working my travel before to get a team. I was like, I told him I'll take anything. I'll even take Middle East. Then Bahrain was on board. Qatar was on board, Even this Turkey, other countries in Europe, even major other countries in Africa. So my passport was with him for a very, very long time. And he told me, look, for you to be able to travel easily across the border where you get a passport, we need to, your passport is still a virgin. You know that statement, you haven't traveled, so they're going to bother you a lot, the border police and at the airport. I gave him my passport. I didn't really know what he did with it. So my passport returns with some stamp of a road trip, like I've been to Cameroon by road, Ghana by road, different African countries by road,
Yeah.
I was a kid. I didn't know what was going on now. Then I got to the airport. They saw this. I'm like, yo, when did you do all this journey? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. He was showing me this stamp by rope, this stamp by road, this stamp by road trip. I was like, okay, what to do now? They said, if he let me go, the police in Turkey gonna throw me in the cell and probably bring me back with handcuff, and they will arrest me back here in Nigeria. That is better they don't let me go. I was sent back. So I had my ticket. I went to, luckily, Turkish airline, then they are very flexible, And I went to Turkish airline. The guy said, okay, don't worry. I can reschedule it for tomorrow if you can resolve the problem. Now you missed the flight. I said, okay. Another guy who had similar problem with me, I didn't know him from nowhere. He was going for business or something. He was like, yo, I can help you. We can go somewhere tomorrow and they're going to wipe this ink off your passport. It's called washing, I'm like, damn. And like I said, I've been kind of lucky no matter the struggle. I didn't know this guy. And he could, I swear, be fraud. He could be trying to deceive me, take my passport and run away, or trying to take money, deceive me. I met him in the morning. We went to a place in the island, where it's usually very busy, and met some guys upstairs. He asked me to wait outside. You can imagine. I had my passport with him, and I had to wait outside. Can you imagine the courage I had then, I gave him money. I don't know this guy. He could as well go through the other door, and that was it. Came back with my passport wet. It's like they've been washing it with liquid.
Hey.
Yeah. My passport came really wet. The paper were really soft, but those ink, they were almost, kind of gone.
Yeah.
But then I called one of these guys, Okbos was his name. I was like, look what I encountered at the airport. Then he said, look, listen, I'll give you a number of one of the boss of immigration there, You call him and he's just going to not bother about all that, you cross. But it was too late because my passport has been washed. It's wet. So when I met one of the guys, he saw my passport, said, damn, this passport is washed. It's even worse, what to do. He gave it to his boss. His boss looked at it. The usual thing, get some money, blah, blah, blah. Then I found myself on the other side, That was when I was able to call my people like, yo, I'm boarding,
Yeah.
Then I got to the plane again. I called, I was inside the plane. It was my first time, And the plane, it was like so huge. Like at some point, I kind of got scared, to be honest. So I called again, and then my auntie asked me to place my hand on my head, usual thing. She prayed for me, and I got to Istanbul. I slept the whole flight, actually. I ate and I slept. So thinking that, I was thinking about my passport, that what if they question me? And after spending all the money, the only money that was left with me was $200.
Yeah.
And you're going to a place you've never been to before, a no man's land, like it's another world, another continent, and you don't have money.
Did you travel? Was it in winter or?
In winter, that was in December.
So it was at the heart of winter.
Uh-huh. So,
did you have like proper winter clothes?
No, I was never ready for that. So my uncle kind of told me it's in winter, it's gonna be cold. Now, I went to, there's a place called Yaba Market, there you can get some stuff there. I got a jacket, but during all this hustle and also on the first day, I lost it at the airport. I was with a tracksuit and a shirt, Adidas, complete, but there was no
cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So And then I remember I had a Reebok shoe, really nice shoe. And when I got to the airport, and the first thing you experience is the wind when the door open automatically.
Yeah.
You can imagine how I ran back to the airport, right?
Yeah.
Then
mine wasn't even the door of the airport. When the door of the plane opened, like going down the stairs, the breeze.
I didn't feel
And I had a jacket on, so
because there was a cover to the door which just lead you in. So then they were having they bring this into the plane, so you walk straight to the airport from the plane.
Mine was different. I had to walk down the stairs to the bus.
I didn't have that.
Yeah,
but I got scared. I panicked, and I was already thinking I'm going back home. Honestly, so one or two persons were supposed to come pick me there, and they had to convince me a lot. So at some point. But I couldn't get out. So they needed to go out to go get me something, a jacket or a blanket or something, be able to drag me out of the airport, put me in the taxi. So I waited for like 20, 30 minutes. I thought they left me there. Now, this is what happened. Another guy, I didn't know he was an agent. It's not. I think I've crossed the police line. So because of my passport I was with, everyone I see in front of me, I think is a police guy. So one guy called me, so I thought it was the police. I answered him. He asked me, where do I want to go? The first thing that got into my head was a hotel. So he was an agent, travel agent, trying to get booking, a taxi, transfer, He took my passport. Then in my head, I'm like, fuck, Sam, you gave your passport to somebody? What if it's a cop, Then I tried to be like, okay, I said, okay, you know what? While he was doing some things on the computer, I don't know nothing. I said, yeah, can I see my passport for a minute? He was like, yeah, sure. He was like, what kind of room do you want? I said, I'll let you. Let me just make a call. I took my passport. I had just one backpack. The same winter that drove me back, I didn't care anymore. I went straight to the door. It opened. The next available taxi, I jumped inside.
So there was no one to pick you up from the airport.
I was waiting, but I didn't know that it took a longer distance for them to get to the airport. So I thought they let me there. I was desperate, and I jumped into the taxi, and the guy was like, where are you going? I was like, I just pointed my head.
Yeah.
And he drove. So when I finally got out of the airport, I was a bit patient, relaxed, Then I got to, when I got to a place, the place in Turkey is called Taksim. It's one of the busiest places in Istanbul, Taksim. And there was a McDonald's there. It's actually close to Beşiktaş football club. So I stopped there at the McDonald's. I saw two black guys. I was like, oh, finally. I approached them. Surprisingly, it's the first time someone was really, really just nice, unconditionally. But, of course, there's always an interior motive for everything. So I told him, I just got here. The people that were supposed to pick me up, I don't know where they are, and I'm stranded. I was like, okay. They ordered food for themselves, and they ordered for me. I sat close to them. We ate. They called taxi. We went straight to their home while I was waiting for the contact, So when we ate, so the guy asked me, where is my return ticket? Because at that time, because it was sport visa, so it's a trial, and you have to get a return ticket for them to allow you to go. So my return ticket was with me. So I thought he wanted to check my return ticket to see whatever, if everything was okay. I didn't know that he took my return ticket from me in order to sell it.
To sell your return ticket?
Yeah.
But how is he going to sell your return ticket if your name is on it?
Yeah, but, people, they just need a number and they can change the name on the ticket. It's easy. So then I eventually reached out to Yinka and Jimo there or in France now. And they be like, I gave them the phone. And the first thing he said, because we have the same contact, they were there before they came through the Beşiktaş program then. And the first thing he said to those guys, he's my brother. Do not touch him, And be like, okay, come take your brother. Where were you when he was stranded, So they came, and they picked me up and we went to eat something again and we started talking and they started explaining to me, it was never as it was planned, but it's okay. you need to keep your head up and everything will be fine. And so going forward, for it was never the way I planned it, you know.
So just let's take it back. So Besiktas,
Yeah.
they knew you were coming for the trials.
It was all their invitation, all the papers there was from them. Yeah.
So, like, what happened? Like, I think usually they are supposed to send someone to pick you up from the airport.
That was the reason why I think the manager himself to today, there was a time he came to Greece, he refused to talk to me. I don't know if I was the one angry with him or he was the one angry with me. Now, then I called one of my uncle, Lazarus. Yeah, I told him, yo, this is what happened. And he called him back in Nigeria. And you know what they can do when it looked like things were not as it was planned, you know, and everything just, and they were talking like swearing at each other. But eventually, it happened in a different way. There was an interest, you know, but it was not the luxury and everything that was promised, you know. But I eventually get into the team in a way of as a junior. But along the line, of course, it still didn't go as I planned it, just because, not as I planned it. I don't know if it was because I missed my flight.
So wait, after the episode at the airport, someone not picking you up,
the guys
how
that
did
came,
so how did you finally go like to the clubhouse to go train?
Because
like
the guys that were there ahead of me were the one who eventually came after me from those guys' house, the black guys. So I managed to get there. So, but there's a lot of episode along those lines, the behind the scenes actually that happen, which it's gonna take a lot to actually go through it or go into it. But I'm gonna a bit jump to cut a long story short. When I realized that the way was not gonna be my way there, you know, because it didn't go as I wanted, I knew I needed to move ahead. Now, this is where you get interested. You have 30 days for the team to try you, for the team to consider you okay, make your document, and be ready to go. Now, the 30 days was actually going very fast. So now you need to think faster, actually very, very fast, in a way that you have less than 20 days. What do? You're not getting any call from anybody, nobody answers you. So there was a change of plan. So I decided to go through another way, and I spoke with one of the manager directly. I was like, yo, what's going on? Or like, just wait and we'll see, you know.
I know it can be frustrating, like you're there, you don't know what's happening, you don't know if they want to keep you.
Or you want to go back to Nigeria. But for me, to be honest with you, and I'm sure you understand this, that it was not an option for me.
Yeah.
Even after a long time I stayed there, the first time I called back home, I was like, look, I might come back home. The first thing they also said to me, it's not an option. Yeah. No one even said, are you okay? You know?
Yeah.
How are you doing? You know? So fast forwarding, I have to leave the hotel eventually because I was not the one that was being paid, because things didn't go wrong. Manager messed up everything. I promised myself that I was never going to talk about it again, about anything about that guy. Messed up a lot of things for me, but I knew I needed to start on my own.
Yeah.
You know, so when I decided to move on from Turkey, that was when the party started.
So first of all, like, what went wrong in Turkey? I would like us to talk about it. What went wrong? Like, because eventually, did the club want you to sign, or did you pass your trials?
That was one answer that I didn't really have. Every time they keep telling me, we're waiting on somebody.
Was that somebody, your agent?
We're waiting on a manager. We're waiting on an agent. We're waiting for a call. We're waiting for a call. And that call, I'm sure it... So the funny part of this is that if I can give you the honest answer right now, I'll tell you exactly what the meeting was all about. But I don't know. So the only thing I knew is that they are waiting for a call.
Yeah.
And if things didn't go well, it means that call never came.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
that call never came for some reason. And I called. So how can people be so scared? I don't understand. Then I called my uncle in France. I said, look, this is what is going on. This is what is going on. What do I do? The first thing that man told me was that, do not tell anyone you have anybody in Europe. I was like, what? I said, okay. I said, but you know what? I need to move on, you know?
Yeah.
If I go with my passport, now let me tell you the tricky part of my movement from Turkey to Greece, which nobody understood. So the main party here is that when I decided that I needed to leave Turkey to Greece, I knew that it was not going to be an easy journey. Now, everyone look at it like he moved from Turkey to Greece. Like, it's like you buying a plane ticket, you know, going to Greece. Wow, Greece, here I am, you know. It was not like that. First thing, I was thinking two things. If I get caught with expired document.
So at the time, by then your visa was already
Of course, long time ago. Like,
yeah.
If I get caught with expired document, I'll go back home.
Yeah.
If I don't get caught with expired document, I have to keep hiding in Turkey. And Istanbul, there are times whereby in Istanbul, the cops, they just go crazy. All they do is stop you randomly, passports, check it, good. I think I was lucky enough that they stopped me twice when it was still valid.
Yeah.
You know, so since then I had to even... do you remember the day Jack Wilshere ran riot against Barcelona?
Yeah.
I watched that match in Istanbul. And I was coming home like this after the game, like I saw a police car, random road traffic police stopping a driver. But for some reason, I just couldn't go through that lane anymore. And I turned around, you know, and went through the other side, in which I had to make another 30 minutes walk for this, just to get to my place. Then I knew I can't do this anymore. That call will never come. I knew it. I saw it. And everyone could tell me. Then Jimo, Ojo is a very good goalkeeper as well. Has similar problem. Jimo, the same. Tarif is his name. He's still in Turkey right now. He stayed. We talk here and there. You know, imagine I bring him here someday, you know. So Ojo knew a guy, Turkish guy, you know, and I know what I'm saying right now might be exposing a lot of things, but yeah, sometimes it's not worth it. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, knowing that you need to escape, yes, you don't really look back anymore at the risk, the dangers that are involved. I know many times a lot of cars had an accident and you have a van, you know, like a van, a Sprinter, is packed with over 50, 70 people inside, you know, and you're driving like 3 hours just to get to, to the border between Sofli and Istanbul, another town away from Istanbul. I don't know if that zone is called Constantinople, something like that. But I knew that after we get to the border, there was a Black Sea. But luckily, the Black Sea is a branch of it. You know, it wasn't that wide, you know. And they brought a plastic boat, and they, you know, it's like
like a lifeboat or something.
Yeah, it's like you're in the military.
Yeah.
When you're walking and you see someone raise his hand like this, everybody go down. They're standing up. They're observing, because the problem is that if you're caught, you're okay. The people that goes 21 years inside are the one leading you.
Yeah.
So they watch out. There are many times whereby they are making this transfer and they see cops, they drop the van, they park the van, they escaped. The people are taken back, keeping them for 3 days and letting them out again like lost ships.
Yeah.
So they were very vigilant. And when they make this, every time they make this sign, everybody's going down, then there's a place they keep you all there. They went to look around, get a boat. I saw many times whereby policemen were attacked, Greek police, because once they cross over with the boat, it's like less than 100 meters the distance that they have to cross with the boat. They go like few times, putting some there, coming back, taking the other ones. So crossing from that less than 100 meters with a plastic boat, it was very silent. It was done silently at the middle of the night,
In winter.
In winter. Now, I'm getting somewhere. Now, when they cross you over, now you are no longer in Turkey. But even though it's just the distance between me and you, or maybe, I don't know, more, you're no longer in Turkey. Now you're on your own. They point to the light. They tell you, go. So imagine it was around maybe 12, 11, 12, 1, 2, I started walking in the winter. Hours. We're talking about 6, 7 hours of walking. And in that part of Greece is very, very cold. Like, I started walking. There was a point whereby I talked about my Reebok shoes then, yeah? That was what I had on me too. This time I had one jacket. And there was a point that my shoe left my leg. I didn't realize it until 50 meters. Like, that's how frozen my leg was.
You must have gotten frostbite as well.
Yeah. Like, that frostbite today I still feel it now, many years later. So my shoe left my leg. Like, imagine, I didn't realize it. And when I realized I don't have a shoe, I went back looking and my shoe was in between snow, and I picked it up. It was like stone. I couldn't wear it. So it's better not to force it. I continue walking with my barefoot with the shoe on my hand. But like, I don't feel nothing anymore. Like nothing. All I wanted was just to get somewhere. I don't care where it was. So eventually...
You were following the light?
Yes, the light. I was following the light. I was not alone. There were other group, but at some point, everyone, because it was like a forest, with thorns, with everything's crashed. When I got out, it was like I died and I'm in heaven. Like, that was how it felt. And I saw a bus coming. It's like the normal public bus, but no, it was more of the bus for traveling, not the city one. And I kind of waved my hand. He stopped. I entered. I didn't pay nothing. I entered, I sat down, I was looking around, The bus took me from there to the other side but there was a small city called Sufli.
Yeah.
Then I got there. I think I asked the driver. He pointed to me that there's a train station there. There's a bus station on the other side. I went to the bus station. Excuse me. I couldn't buy a ticket just because I didn't have my passport with me. And let's go back to why I didn't have my passport with me. Before I left Turkey, my uncle told me, but if they will catch you, because they usually can stop during that movement, and they see your passport with you, they know where you're from.
Yeah.
So I sent my passport before I left then. I sent it to France. It was never received anyway. I don't know if it was sent because I gave it to one of my guys to send it, gave him money.
But the reason why it was never received because you're not allowed to send a passport like that unless if the passport is sent from the embassy.
Yeah, but it was not sent actually because before I gave it to send, I packaged it very well.
It doesn't matter. They usually will check.
So like a gift, in between postcard and whatever. But I think it was never sent. But luckily, I had a copy on my email. So it's like I was prepared. I gave him money. Maybe it was not sent. The money was spent. I don't know what happened, but he never received it. But that's by the way. And I got there. I didn't have means to take a bus ticket, And the guy who was there, working there, told me, sorry, I think that was the first time someone spoke English with me, actually. Yeah, sorry, you are not allowed to buy a bus ticket as foreigner, because he definitely saw that I came from through the border town, Sufli. But there is a police station by the corner. If you go there, they're going to give you a piece of paper. And with this piece of paper, you just come and buy a ticket. It's okay. I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, that was good. But I was frozen. I didn't really care anymore. I was hungry, starving. And I went to the police station. The other guys that we moved together, that we separated, they were already there sitting somewhere on the floor. And they were taking their names, taking pictures, and they saw me coming. And the police reaction, LRA Malaka, like, like, Malaka is like an asshole,
See, another asshole.
Yeah, another asshole is here, like, they were laughing, like, okay, now I came by myself. They didn't pick them up because they picked some of them up on the street, but I came by myself because I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
I surrendered myself. And they gave me somewhere to sit down, gave me blanket, cover me up, and I was really starving. They asked me if I'm hungry. I said, yes. They brought food, a lot of chicken, a lot of chicken, more than I ever ate in a very long time. And so then somebody came from the embassy. So you cannot see that. I was asking myself, where are some of people who I knew where they came from, denying where they came from? I didn't understand why, And later I understood that if you are Nigerian, you are on the deportation list. Because your embassy have money. You have embassy in the country, they will come, they will sponsor the deportation.
The deportation.
Then the other country like Somali, Tunisia, Niger, they give them 30 days to go because they know that they are not staying. Nobody want to stay in Greece at that time. They are crossing. So they give them 30 days to leave the country. And within 30 days, they are in France. I don't know how they do it. They are anywhere.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. And I was the only one who declared Nigeria and with my real name and everything. And after I made the interview and blah, 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 and they said, okay, nice, thumbprint, pack, poser, back, gate, get in, back.
Like they do, like they do in the movies.
And I found myself between four walls.
Yeah.
Just like that. I didn't believe it until they served me papers. And someone came to explain those papers that for crossing the border illegally, the charges are minimum of 6 months.
Yeah.
And within that 6 months, they have the right to deport you. If they don't deport you within 6 months, they will let you go.
Yeah.
He said, do you understand these charges? I said, yes. Do I really have a choice? I'm hungry. Bring me food. So I stayed there. I was in one room with one guy and a girl.
It was a mixed prison?
Yes, at some point it was, but they had to transfer the girl to the other one in Komotini then. I don't remember. So for a few weeks later, there we have the doctor, you have everything is good. The only thing they don't give you is they don't give you nothing, just food, blanket, and it's an open set with Arabs. There I met a lot of Arabs from Iran, Iraq, even Turkish, Syria, Tunisia, name them, I made friends there. And these people, there I realized that sometimes in life, people are not really escaping because they are poor. People are not escaping because they don't have food to eat or they don't have house to live. Many of them, I can tell you 95% of the people crossing the border are running for their life. They just want to survive. They just want to be alive. I'll give you a good example. There I met a guy, Bashkan. I call him Bashkan. He's an elderly guy. At that time, he should be around 40, And he have a very good friend who was like 10 years older than him. MacG was his name, These guys are rich. They are rich. Like, believe me, I made more money in prison than I made for a long time after I was out with nothing, Like, these guys are rich. Like, every day, he just gave you 50 euro. He said, my friend, keep this, So at some point in there, I made a lot of friends. I became very popular. The Big Sam, that's where he came from, actually. And I stopped a lot of fights, some fight between Iran, Iraq, they just have unnecessary hate, or who is sending for cigarette. Then the captain kind of noticed that I kind of have a leadership attitude there. My personality was a bit different. I'm always making peace, I'm not trying to create problem, rather I'm trying to solve it. So I was the first person the captain actually opened the cell for, get me out for a coffee.
Yeah.
It was the first time I drank coffee, actually. Real coffee, when you see this cream, I'm not talking about the next
Your first cup of cappuccino was in
Exactly. It took me out for coffee, and had a talk with me. Look, if you be a good boy, your time will pass and you'll be gone as soon as possible. Maybe in Nigeria, maybe in the city, I don't know. He never gave you any guarantee. But we kind of talk, and told the other guards every time. That was when I remember sometimes that the real prisoner is not the one who is actually inside.
Yeah.
It's the main guard outside, Like if I have to sleep, I don't need to worry about nothing. Food will come. I don't need to worry about my safety apart from you have some aggressive people there, which I know I can take care of myself, but they have to worry about me. They have to worry about my safety.
They have to make sure you're safe.
They have to make sure I eat. They have to make sure I have warm water. They have to make sure if I send for, I don't know, sandwich or whatever, I get it. So in that point, my mentality shifted a little. Like between me and them, I can't really tell who is the actual prisoner here. A lot of people who are there, they feel very safe than they were in their country, but they were in prison. I also know some from Syria, a guy from Syria. Till today, we still keep in touch on Facebook.
Yeah.
They just want to survive. They have a lot of money. They leave their home behind. They leave their mansions behind. They leave their expensive cars behind just because they want to be alive. So for some of you here, a lot of people who is taking life for granted, who is just trying to intimidate people because they left their country. These people, they are kings in their land. They choose to live that luxury life they had in their own town and come here with nothing, only seeking for life, to be alive.
To be alive, yeah.
To be protected from the crisis and everything. This is why, since that day, I never had to think so much about these people of, oh my God, you don't know their story. They are there not because they want to live the comfort of their home. Imagine sleeping with a sleeping bag when you used to sleep on a king-size bed. That was not by choice. So moving forward, I realized that these people, they don't really care about you. If you tell them you don't have enough heat, they tell you should have stayed in your country, But at some point, I got used to it, fighting happening inside there, how many times I put my hand to block a rod, just because it was going on somebody's head, which I don't know how they got it inside, Sometimes fear these guys, they do anything. I remember that some of them even managed to smuggle stuff inside, and I don't know how. Why? Because they have brothers, family in city who bring them cigarettes, because Allah, and they seal it back and,
Yeah.
So I made a name in a way because I was always trying to speak up for the one that are being oppressed. And for that reason, I got a recommendation by the captain to send me a lawyer if I needed, But before the lawyer could come, I was already transferred to Komotini.
Yeah.
Komotini was the main deportation camp. It's like you're there, and when you look from the window, you see like about 1 kilometer away, there's an airport, local airport.
Yeah.
From there, they take you in the bus. 5 minutes, you're at the local airport. They fly you to Athens, and a few hours later, you're calling from Nigeria.
Yeah.
And immediately I saw the first badge left. I knew it was a wake-up call. That was when I met Christos. Christos Sempesis. He's a psychologist, one of the best psychologists Greek has ever produced till today. And he's also one of these few that are fighting against domestic violence, fighting for women's rights and also fighting for abuse on women and children in Greece right now. So I met him. I had a gist with him. Like I told him some few of my stories, and he kind of be like, you know what? Maybe I can try something for you. Like your story is touching, you know. Then he connected me with a lawyer, Elena. When Elena came, like, he said, "Can we have a talk?" I said, "Yeah." Took me to the office. We had like 1 hour discussion, and she kind of explained, "This is the only thing we can do." Now, take note: Greek does not grant asylum. You can apply. You can apply no matter what your story is. The answer is always going to be negative. But the only way you can escape this deportation, which could happen in 2 weeks or in 1 month, we don't know, is to just agree to sign it. I said, okay. She brought the papers. I signed it. Again, she won. They don't grant. And you don't have any allowances. You don't have any money. They don't give you a home. You're on your own. This one is just to prolong it. Now, when they will reject it, which they will bring the rejection letter in a few weeks, call me to appeal. And that appeal usually takes years.
So you'll be waiting at the deportation camp, not knowing if...
Exactly. So that means your 6 months will elapse. They won't be able to deport you anymore because after 6 months, it's must. They have to let you go.
They have to let you go.
No. So then I met Helena Margaretti, who's another human rights lawyer. You know, we became kind of friends, you know, and we were talking here and there. I was calling them. Then they brought the rejection letter. I called her. She told me she'd already applied for appeal. So appeal to today, appeal never happened.
Yeah.
You know, but the idea is after 6 months, they give you a pink card. That pink card usually valid for 6 months. You have to renew it again.
Like a laissez-passer.
Something like that. But at the end of the day, you need to have a home for you to be able to renew it, like have an apartment, an address or something. So you can imagine. I got a pink card. I called Margarita. Margarita was who my mom, whom I told you about, but Margaritis is the lawyer. So they kind of, with time, I connected them together and they had to work together because of me. And I called Margaritis. He came to pick me from Alessandropoli police station because from Komotini, you have to go to Alessandropoli, the headquarters. They gave me the pink card. I signed. He took me to his office, gave me some wares, some shoes, because everything I left there at the stations, I couldn't find them anymore. My shoes, my jacket. I came there, full bag. I left with nothing, So he gave me some trousers, which I went to the bus because I knew this guy in Saloniki whom I thought that at least I know somebody there. When I got there, he kind of told me to take a bus, went to a bus station. He came to pick me. I was there. 3 days later, they were already asking me for money.
So, taking it back a bit, so you were released after 6 months?
Yeah.
Because after 6 months, they don't have the right to keep you anymore?
No, and they can't deport me then because I already signed.
Okay. So, let me ask you this. So, you leave Nigeria with the dream of becoming the next Ike Shurumu.
You can say that.
Yeah.
I was a bigger fan of Buffon.
And then you end up in prison. Yeah. How did that make you, how do you even live with something like this?
Sometimes when there are times whereby a woman is pregnant, and there are times whereby you have to get to 9 months to have a baby. There are times whereby that woman gets a contraction in 6 months, 5 months, right? So one way or the other, the baby have to come out, right? So what can be done for that baby to survive is to put that baby in an incubator. So that was the mentality I had there. I felt like God had a plan for me. I felt like being here is like me being in an incubator, building me for what is in front of me. Because I learned a lot of things while I was in there. Sometimes I ask myself, what if I didn't have to pass through all that? Would I have missed the line?
Yeah.
Would I have missed the point? Would I have missed the purpose? Would I have missed the struggle? Would I have missed to understand the fact that it's not as easy as people assume in Nigeria.
So what you're trying to say is you accepted that it was just part of the process for you.
So yes, I have to accept it in a way because there was no other way I could explain it.
Yeah.
There was no other way. And I use this word for you a lot, like when you went to Metaloglobus or when you went to Politimishora and you were just there, you didn't know what was going on. As I told you, I said, just think about incubator. Just remember that you are in this place to develop. Like when you are in an incubator, there's a chance that the baby will develop and become a mature baby instead of premature.
Yeah.
And I say that to Moses a lot, And so I accept it, but I couldn't explain why it turned out like that. And that was the first time in my life, if you ask me where I was going, I didn't know. I couldn't tell what plan I have for my life.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, everyone was back home out there thinking that Sam is in Europe playing football, but he was in,
While you were in prison?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny enough is that when I got out, and I still had some number, I called some persons because I had some money when I got out, put the card, it was a card then, put a machine call, and they hear, the first thing they tell you, oh my God, not be so it's like, man, you just forgot about me.
Yeah.
You left. Like, you can imagine how annoying that can be. But funny enough, I had a cousin who was in Italy. Her name is Joy. And we're going to digest this very well because she's the first person that actually hurt me in Europe. Hurt me in the sense that I never wanted anything from her, I was happy to be calling her because she was the only one I was able to call from the prison, My cousin, like, it's my dad, my aunt, her mom. So we were close. We stayed together with my grandmother. It's not like we were strangers or we were far, And I was calling her. She was like, oh, my brother, I'm happy to hear from you. Should I send you money? Should I send someone to you to come see you? How are you doing? I was very optimistic. Like, okay, someone understand, I can talk to somebody. That was what I said. No, I just needed somebody to talk to, because it's really, really, really dry here. Like, it's quiet sometimes. It's crazy. I needed someone to talk to. So it's okay, you know what? Call me when you get out, I said, okay. I was very happy. The day when I got to Saloniki, she was the first person. I think the only money I had left then, I used it to buy card because I wanted to talk to my cousin. She had a child then. So I think at that time, her child was like, not even at the age of my daughter. So I think her child was around 2 at that time, her son. So imagine me calling her and her son, who was a child, who did not know my phone number, who don't even know I was calling, and it was not even a normal phone, mobile call, it was a phone from the street. How the child knew I was the one calling. Now, this was what the child said, picked up the phone. Uncle, my mommy is not at home. Damn. I was like, okay, thank you. And the call. I was touched. Man, something just broke in me. Like, it's like I didn't know what to do. I froze. Next day, after thinking about it for 24 hours, I took her phone and I texted her. And I still remember very well what I texted her. I said, to think that you make your son, who don't even know me, a 2-year-old son, pick my call and tell him, because he was not the one. You make him tell me that you're not home. It's not fair. I only wanted to talk to somebody. I didn't need anything from you. But the next time you will ever see my call on your phone again, ask your dog to bite me. That was exactly what I sent her. And it's been for 10 years, 15 years now. I haven't spoken with her. And I will never. Not in this lifetime. So sometimes I do hear rumor from her mom saying that she said, oh my God, she's ashamed to reach me, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear it. There is no repentance in grave, man. It doesn't exist. And that was the last time I spoke with her. That was the last time I spoke with anybody that have to do with her, including her mother. Nobody understand why I never called her mom. But this was why, because at that time, the first thing you could have said to your daughter is, Agbons is somewhere there. If you can assist him, do whatever you can. Nothing is too small. Or just talk with him. He must have told you. Like, I don't care whether you knew it or not. So I never spoke with her again. And I needed to focus on something else. That was football.
So now let's look at it this way. Now you're out of the deportation camp. You have your pink card.
A pink card.
So you know you're never going to get, asylum in Greece, and you still have the football dream.
Yeah.
So how did you start playing again? Like, how did it happen?
So there's this stadium where every black guys usually train every day, every morning. I mean, the competition there is stronger than any league you will play in Greece. Like, everyone is fighting. Because why? There is one good man there. His name is Joseph Padakis. Yo, Senior Ma, if you dey hear me, you're too much. Yeah, I call him Senior Ma. And if I go to Greece today, I still visit him. This guy lived in Greece for many years. He played football. So what he does is use his name, connection, to gather players, train them from his sweat and blood, still take them home, feed them, irrespective of where they come from, you know. And this guy, when I went to train, I trained with him. So, okay, you know what? We need to find how to make you a paper because you can start from anywhere. He's looking for teams for them. God, forgive me for what I'm about to say, but I'll tell you that there are a lot of guys out there who play football in Greece. You never hear their name, not because they were not good enough. That's because most of them played with some document that were not right to play for. But they have to keep quiet even if they were not paid. You know, like there's this guy who's usually very good. He can make anything happen. You can go to Greece right now. He can give you an ID card that you're from Spain, and you check it on system. It's real. I don't know how he does it, but yeah, it happened. So but yeah, let's not go too further on that. But what I'm trying to say that he told me, you will play, but how you do it, how you resist the struggle, because there's gonna be a struggle. It's up to you. And I said, okay, Senior Ma, I'll listen to you, whatever you say. We were training every day. And not, mind you, that they don't pay him. He's leaving his home every morning, 6 o'clock, to train boys that he don't even know. They don't pay him. And he still take few to his house, cook food, eat, then drink, dance, everybody go home, you know? And so at some point he told me, Agali, number one, I have something for you. I'm like, well, he said, you go to Pyrgos Ilias. It's like 8 hours drive from Thessaloniki, you know. But until then, many teams I tried in Thessaloniki, Aran, Katerini, you know, always the same story with, you know, they cannot accept the pink card. They cannot accept the pink card. So at some point, like I said, I became, again, homeless, you know, in Greece. I slept at a train station for a few days, few weeks, you know. Then I was coming to training. Then the afternoon after training, I just stay on the, you know, where the spectators are sitting. I'm thinking what to do next, and I fall asleep, you know, because I was tired.
Yes, I was going to ask you actually, like when you left the deportation camp, you didn't have anywhere to go. No. So where did you?
The first place I went to, the guy that picked me from the bus station, what I said earlier, actually was from my town, you know. He was also in the prison, but he knew somebody there who picked him. So he told me I can come. So when I got there, I thought, oh my God, yeah, this would be nice. But I stayed 2 days maximum there, where I gave the last money that I had, but they needed more and I couldn't give, and I had to leave. So I had to stay with other guys, here and there, whereby we rent an apartment for 300 euros and like 8 guys stays. You have to pay like 30 euros, 40 euros every month. And at the end of the month, you're not still sure you can raise 40 euros, you know? And at that point, I was just seated, I don't know what to do. Then Harris Haralabos, my brother now, he came to run, and he saw me there a few times and he was like, yo, what's up? I'm like, hey. He was like, do you play basketball? He said, yeah, I play sometimes. I said, me too. Like, I did some academy, barely two from academy in C Rovers then in Nigeria. But I was like, because then I was looking for every opportunity. I didn't care, And he said, oh, okay, you know what? We can train sometimes. I said, yeah. Then the next day, I came to train. He came too. He was like, do you want to have lunch with us? I'm like, yeah. Why not?
So
I
he
was
invited
hungry.
you to his home?
Yeah. And I went to them. I met his 2 brothers and his mom. His mom was so happy to see me. Like, it's the first time I saw somebody who don't know you just connect with your spirit. He was like just happy to hear you out, to hear your story, And after my story, she made the package, food, autopause, because the husband go a lot of fishing, hunting, Nico. Packed a lot of fish, food, make me a lot of package. I took it home, got home, boys were very happy, ate with a lot of milk, baked stuff. And 1 week later, Haralabos came to me and said, yo, I have news for you. I was like, what was it? He said, myself, my mom, we discussed with the boys and we agreed that you can live with us. Just like that. I mean, I just couldn't hold myself. I got a bit emotional. I didn't believe. I went on my knees, but she didn't let me. She lift me up, and then I thought of it. I was like, but there is a man in this house, your father, Nico. What does he have to say about that? Because he have this very strong face, personality. Well, it turned out that the guy actually liked me at the beginning, but Margarita said, don't worry about Nico. I'll handle him. That's how she said it. And she spoke, everything was okay. We even went hunting together sometimes, go fishing on a boat. We were cool. Then that was where the breakthrough began from. So she tried everything to make sure I get my document. There was nothing she didn't do. She tried adoption, went to the court, went to Primaria. Most of it failed. She did everything. And she said to me, Sam, if you find a woman right now, I will make the marriage happen today. So we laugh over it, like it's a joke. So that's how desperate she was. When she couldn't do something for me, she was crying. Like she can't help me, Then the pink card expired. I needed to renew. Then police wanted an address. She looked at it, said, don't worry. To print some paper, she wrote all the things that this boy would believe in me, blah, blah, blah. I went to the police, they fixed it, bam, easy peasy. It looked easy. And senior man kind of said, okay, now you have a place to rest your head. It's okay. I have something coming. He called me one evening, said, tomorrow prepare your bag. You're going to Pirgos. Because Costas, shouldn't call his name, but yeah, Costa the mafia, I call him. Costa can fix your paper while you're there. I'm like, oh, really? Took me to the bus station, took a bus with one other guy from Ghana, Tofik. We went there. We got there, he picked us up, took us to a place. He said, okay, don't worry, we'll fix your paper, blah, blah, blah. But you're playing tomorrow. I'm like, what? He said, no, don't worry, it's a friendly game, And I played a friendly game. I did what I had to do. It felt like I never left the game for a long time. And he said, okay, the cup match is the day after tomorrow, and I think you're playing. I was like, how? And before you know, it took him 1 day to fix the paper. And I played the match. That was my first match I played. And of course, I did what I had to do also, And the whole community, my name was all over, My name was all over. Pactera, you know. But at the end of the day, he was nice, but he never almost kept most of his promises, especially with money and stuff. But this kind of thing, there are authorities you could complain to.
Yeah.
But you couldn't.
But you couldn't because of the situation.
You know why? Yeah. So you couldn't. So you have to suck it up. And you just have to swallow it. So at some point, I knew I needed to do something. So I thought to myself, it's not right. I'll get myself legal and I'll find something to do. So then I met my, blah, 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 and make this whole thing legal. Then that was when I got my first very good team who was really, really good to me.
Yeah.
And I knew this was the time. And to cut the long story short, my career started eventually in a very beautiful manner. So I would say finally it's time to smile. It's time to be happy again. It's time to shut everyone up, Everything went very well. But I was trying to learn the system as a young man, to learn how to control my emotions with money, everything. But it didn't really come as I planned then. So before the career could start, it ended.
It ended.
Because I got injured. So it's kind of weird that I'm saying this because to everyone who didn't know where I have been, who didn't hear from me, I've been here. I've been there. But the question is, have you really asked about me? Have you find out what I'll be doing? You just stay there and run your mouth. He's been in Europe. He forgot about us, Sometimes I call my own brother and he tell me, oh my God, you just forgot about me. But you never ask, yo, how are you? But just in case you forgot to ask, I'm doing fine, and on to the next one. I think there is more that I can talk about with all this whole situation, how it went down after the injury, and there come me losing my mom on the process too. It has never been fair. But you're out there now thinking that your life has been cut short, everything is over. But I'm still here, I'm still standing. I keep pushing. So you can never, ever give up, no matter what. So when it looks like the day is darker, just be patient a little because it's going to be done soon. That's all I can say to whoever is watching now. I'm still here.
Yeah. So today has been very special because we are shooting and your kids are here today. They are listening to you. I mean, maybe they don't really understand what Daddy is saying, but then I feel it's special and I can see your emotional sharing. And because of time, I said earlier before we started that we are going to extend this. It's going to be a series. We can do, this is already the second part. We can do a part 3, a part 4, because we've not even scratched the surface of your story, talk less of mine. And because you were talking about how, like, you left your country and, wanting to be the next Buffon, but you ended up in prison. And with me, it's similar. I mean, a lot of people, even my family, they don't know that when the first time I traveled, I came to Romania, I was deported because of, you know why. And the stories will be coming as time goes. And if I don't know if you have something to say to your kids, they are watching, they are here, and just give a last word before we finish.
The only thing I can say to them, which I think I'm very conscious of that, is that that did scratch the surface. And there are things that I struggled for, but they can be rest assured that none of them will go through anything that I've been through. That I'll probably have to lay my life for that first, for them to happen. So it will never have to happen. I have to struggle nonstop till today because I don't want for one day to come that they don't know their whereabouts of their father. I could have left the country long time ago to find something better, but I don't want to be departed from them. I don't want to be far away from them. So they will grow up to understand that even though I cannot give them everything they want, but I will always prepare a foundation to make sure that they have everything they need.
You'll always be present.
I will always be present. So that's all I can say.
All right. So thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. We are trying to build a community. And like I say at the end of every episode, if you have anyone in mind, if you have any person you'd like us to bring on the show, someone who was your favorite athlete, I don't know, whatever sport they play, send us an email, send us a DM. We will respond. We are here. We are present. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share our channel. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok, on Facebook. And it's been Big Sam, my humble self, Joel. Until the next episode. C'était Valate DJ Klim.
See you on the other side.